Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua to the brothers, Yahweh Shemar Lathab, Shem Yahshua. It's like Peace and officer without one welcome to you once again. It is the law class, I.S.U.P.K law class, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So we are living in the modern day, the age of technology, the age of discovery, and so on and so forth. And one question, matter of fact, one thing that I heard today when I was listening to the radio. I forget who it was. And they were talking about the Egyptians. I'm like, wait, what? It was like, oh yeah, the Egyptians, this, that, whatever else, though. I was just like, all right. And in the same breath, they came back and they said, oh yeah, the Hebrews. So I'm like, you mentioned the Egyptians and then you flipped it over to the Hebrews. I just need clarification. Which one is it? Are the people of this Bible that is referring to the Egyptians? Or is it referring to the Hebrews? So one of the most important things that we do is understand what the scripture says in the context of the content. We must understand it in its entirety, not bits and pieces. Of course, I know the scripture says precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. But because of, you know what I'm saying, religion, because of, you know, philosophy, because of, you know, indoctrinations and everything else, so the changing of times, we have become so dumb and so stupid. Just plain out dumb and stupid. The reasons why I say that and just say it so boldly, because when you read the scriptures, when you read, you know, about the stories of the Hebrews, about our ancestors, about how they were in Egypt, there was a distinction between the two. The Pharaoh, who was Egyptian, right? When Moses came of age, and he found out about his brother, he found out about his sister, he found out about his people, his kinfolks, his kinsmen. He realized that he is not an Egyptian. Everybody has a coming of age story or whatever. And you can say, oh, well, this is when I realized this is what I wanted to be or what I wanted to do or blah, 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 blah. You come up to realize your true identity, of course, because for years you have been told something completely different. As a children, we weren't told that we were Israelites, that our forefathers spoke Hebrew. We were taught and led to believe that we were just descendants of slaves and that we came from Africa, and that we'd be lucky if we make it to the age of 25, or if we weren't pregnant by the age of 16, so on and so forth. we were never, I don't want to say never. We became indoctrinated to this belief system that makes us turn our back on the Most High. This belief system that turns us away from the law, statute, commandments of the Most High. Because we allow our children to pass through fire. How so, Dawa? What I'm gonna say next? You're gonna hear me say birthdays, right? Yeah. You gonna hear me say Christmas? Okay. I mean, if we just take for just a quick moment, what was birthdays? What was the origination history of it? You exalted the emperor, you exalted the king, you exalted the pharaoh. Okay. That's a custom for them. To boost morale, of course, that's where the people were given the, oh yeah, a cake for the day, a king for the day. I remember as a child, I think it was a book. The story is like King for the Day. It was just like, yeah. You know, there's this whole thing about feeling special because it's my birthday. Feeling special because, you know, everybody acknowledged me for the day. But what did it prepare me for? It prepared me for a lifetime of walking around asking for acknowledgement. Hey, y'all know slavery happened, right? We need reparations. Give us reparations. Well, there are black people who need jobs too. We are educated as well too. That's what we've been doing all our life, walking around, you know what I'm saying, seeking that acknowledgement, you know what I'm saying, that has been indoctrinated into us as children. To celebrate birthdays, to celebrate, it's Christmas. I didn't get a gift. It's Thanksgiving. I didn't get no stuffing. I didn't get any cornbread. Halloween. I didn't get any candy. Or I didn't get to dress up. I had to pretend, right? Halloween, a time period for you to get out of what? Your reality. See, you know what I'm saying, in which that you're growing up in the ghettos. You're growing up in the hood. You're growing up without. You're growing up lesser. You're growing up without your father, without your mother. You're growing up, you know what I'm saying, without the family structure that they constantly push on TV. You remember the Bill Cosby, the Hustle? Oh, okay. You remember Good Times? Before they killed off, you know what I'm saying, the dad? Like, we have lived in a society that sets us up to focus solely on ourselves and not think of our brothers, not think of our sisters, not think beyond me. Black people walk around here, hands up, don't shoot. Black lives matter, all lives matter. No justice, no peace. That all stems from indoctrination as a child. Birthdays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Easter. Oh, Lord, don't talk about Easter. Christ rose from the dead. But you go out there, you put on the plays, and you put on the different festivals and everything else, though. Let's go egg hunting from a bunny. Bunnies don't lay eggs, you dum-dum. So why are we lying to the children saying that we're going to get Easter eggs? You go get the nice suits or the little dresses. I remember a time, you know what I'm saying, when there was a young brother, you know what I'm saying, that was growing up here, and he was kind of like one of the outcasts, right? But he still came to the church. He still came to the services. So what? He had struggles. He had challenges. The people that he was around, you know what I'm saying, it was a rough crowd. He didn't have, you know what I'm saying, all of the luxuries that the Huxtables had. I realize, you know what I'm saying, looking back now, that what caused him to pull away is that being in the church made the brother soft. And he had to go back home and deal with hardcore criminals or thugs, gangsters that surrounded him on a daily basis. The church looked at him like he was wrong. What do they say? Turn the other cheek. We have grown up in a society in which that we've been indoctrinated to become self-centered instead of being culturally centered around ourselves. What do you mean? That sounds like the same thing, doesn't it? Culturally speaking, you know what I'm saying, when we talk about and we think about Black Lives Matter, is it really about Black lives? Or is the LGBTQ elemental P, you know what I'm saying, agenda attached to it? Black Lives Matter. Oh, this is attached to it as well. The whole feminist movement attached to it as well. You can't say minority and still think that you're referring to and talking about descendants of slaves, the Native Americans, or the indigenous people or First Nation. You can't say minority and think about our Hispanic or Latino brothers and sisters. You can't say minorities and just think about Blacks. Our brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, that comes from Trinidad and Tobago, from Haiti, Jamaica. You can't say minority and think about our people, because minority has to be inclusive. Minority now includes what? Genders. God damn. We were talking about something very specific. We were talking about the oppression and disenfranchised descendants of slaves in this nation, in this country. But somehow it got twisted and turned, you know what I'm saying, from being about the disenfranchised descendants of slaves, victims of slaves, of slavery, Salakia. And it now become the, oh, women are disenfranchised too. Goddamn Chelsea Clinton. You can't talk about the struggles of one group of people. Wait, don't they have something called Vera House? What is Vera House for? What does it stand for? They have the YMCA, right? They have the WYMCA as well, if I'm correct. And it's crazy because that song turned into, you know what I'm saying, the gay flag, you know what I'm saying, parade, whatever, theme song. So-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you know what I'm saying, we've grown up in a society and a culture where we have to go out and be the center of attention, but not for the positive aspects of our lives. Brittany Griner, you know what I'm saying, is a focus. She has a whole cult. What she has going on is a cult. praise dancers, goddamn, they walk around and they do the for Brittany Griner, bring her home. I think I just read an article here that talked about how brothers and sisters are dying and being put to death. Salakia, Brittany, I think you're just gonna have to hold up. You might be safe sitting in that jail cell for a bit, unless you're gonna come back home, you know what I'm saying, and start working to help fix our brothers and sisters who are being shot and killed. Somebody said to me the other day, said, what's going on in Syracuse, man? What's going on in Syracuse? I mean, the murder rate, the gun violence, it's just making national news now. Oh, yeah? And you all wonder, how did this happen? How did this come about, right? I'll give you something very basic. I'll start from some basic. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Starting at verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently. You ever hear, you know what I'm saying, your parents say, or your teachers say, or your grandparents say, you need to focus. I had this counselor, you know what I'm saying, from Venezuela, right? He was telling me, you know what I'm saying, about 8, 9 years back. 10 years back. Almost a date, 10 years ago. Concentration. You have to focus. You get distracted too easily on everything else that's going on. And guess what? You have no control over yourself. So-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you know what I'm saying, we have not focused. We have not listened. We have not hearkened diligently. What we have done, we got caught up in all the moves, the movements that were going across the board. We got to go Black Lives Matter. We got to go to All Lives Matter. We got to go hands up, don't shoot. We got to, you know what I'm saying, free the nipple. We got to go out here and protest and protest and protest. Y'all niggas love to march and protest, don't y'all? How about we stay home and teach our children how to read and write and do arithmetic? Teach them some chemistry. And I'm not talking about the chemistry that you do in the goddamn kitchen before you go to the block. Because you got enough uncles, you know what I'm saying, and fathers, you know what I'm saying, that's in jail or dead in the goddamn graveyard right now because they learned chemistry in the fucking slaki, excuse my language. They learned chemistry in the kitchen by somebody who didn't have enough discipline to weather the storm. I'm tired of hearing about brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, being put to death all because they wanted to ease the easy way out. Brothers and sisters dying on the medical tables and whatnot. We are people, you know what I'm saying, that is great when we focus and we concentrate. And the scriptures tells us to do just that. But we get swayed by a Joe Biden and a Kamala Harris, a Al Sharpton, They have smooth words that make you think of hope, promise, prosperity. When you hear things of that nature, oh, you perk up. But when you hear the truth of these scriptures, it's as if I'm speaking language of the aliens. Oh, if I'm speaking Hebrew to you? Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. It shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Who's your God? Who do you serve? Who do you cry out to? Who do you look to for help? When you pray, what do you ask for? Do you pray for guidance? Do you pray for understanding? Or do you pray for the pain to be taken away? Do you pray for the suffering to stop? Is it a prayer, you know what I'm saying, of selfishness? Or is it something more? Dear Lord, our Father, deliver justice upon my enemies. What does justice look like in the eyes of the Most High? Does it mean more of our brothers and sisters being put to death? Does it mean me picking up this sword, you know what I'm saying, and going out and charging everybody that has ever wronged any one of my people? Or does it require that we keep the law, statute, commandments of the Most High? That we don't serve other gods, that we don't go out and lie down, you know what I'm saying, in lust and be driven by vain deceit, the promise of prosperity, the whole conversation about your McDonald's money isn't good enough for me. The Most High is more deserving than some pimp in the pulpit with a three-piece suit. How many more mass shootings has to occur? Or does it have to go to the point of bombings that occur, you know what I'm saying, in your neighborhoods, in our neighborhoods? Why does tragedy have to strike before we shall overcome? Start marching and praying and holding hands. Why is it, you know what I'm saying, that our brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, have to suffer before you finally do something different or you finally pay attention? Death has to be at your door. The same way that death came, you know what I'm saying, from the Egyptians, right? When we were in Egypt, of course, though, and there was a distinction between the Hebrews, the Israelites, and the Egyptians. Their God and our God. Their God had no power whatsoever. Their cattle died. Our cattle lived. Go ahead and mix if you want to. But when you have no food, when you have no water, because you wanted them to do for you what you could do for yourself, faith without works is dead, right? If you have faith that we can be delivered, that we can get reparations, go out and do it on your own. Let me put this in perspective for you for 1 second. Imagine if black people walked out here and just said, to hell with looking for support from anybody else. But we only focus on what we can do for ourselves. It's just as good to go out here and say to brothers, I don't need you. Well, how about we take that same energy and we turn into, we don't need the oppressor. We don't need the other nations. We don't need white people. We don't need Chinese people. We don't need, Asians, just as the Asians, right? We don't need the Russians, the Ukrainians. We don't need the French, the British. I'm jumping between, nationalities and ethnicities, of course, but you understand what I'm talking about, the continents. We don't need them. We'll do it ourselves. We'll take the time, to what? Build ourselves up. Why the heck we got to keep building them up? Well, they set the rules. That's fine. So what if they set the rules? We can't make rules ourselves? I mean, I'm not saying go out here and do, I'm a sovereign. You have yet to establish the basic needs and necessities, within the community around you. How dare you walk around and start saying, I'm sovereign. You're sovereign to nothing. You understand? That doesn't fly. Many of brothers, many of sisters have tried it and failed. The scripture says, be in the world, but not of the world. We live in this society. Just as the Egyptians, we lived amongst the Egyptians, but we did not have to partake in their customs and their traditions and their dietary laws. It wasn't forced upon us. That's the piece that we must understand. Even today, it's not forced upon us to do what? To be lovers of ourselves, which would be gay or homosexual. And I'm not saying this, for anything other than educational purposes, though. But when I reference gay, it's men that lay with men, women that lay with women, homosexual. This is being said so that you can understand there's no law that says that you have to do these things. There's no law that says that you have to eat shrimp. There's no law that says you got to go get that ham sandwich, that bacon double cheeseburger, that Royal Bacon King, right? There's no law that tells you that you got to get that ham sandwich. That Wendy's, Wendy's double bacon or triple bacon, triple burger bacon, whatever. There's no law that tells you that you have to sin. No law. None. You don't have to go out here and vote. You don't have to go out here and do anything against what the scripture says. But you choose to. You choose to. Can you imagine what it'd be like? I said it to somebody recently. It's just like, what was it? In 24 hours, Jay Morrison raised $4 to $6 million. $4 to $6 million in 24 hours. I'm gonna just say less than 48 hours. But I'm pretty sure when I read the article, it said $4 to $6 million less than 24 hours. Damn, ain't that something? Can you imagine what we could do to the community with 6 million? Oh, wait. Right down the street here in Syracuse, they got a $7 million deal that's going on, don't they? Where's it at? It's in the projects. They have a 5-story building going up. They put so many jobs in the one call center. I look at it, it's like, damn. They got it all gated off and fenced off. They listen, if I can give you an example. All right. This is the building. This is the door. They got it gated off so that all you can do is open the door. The homeless shelter, what is it? Charity or Catholic Charities or something of that nature. The gate goes across the street on the sidewalk straight to the door. So that it's literally, this is the door. You have maybe 36 inches, which is 3 feet. It's a doorway from the gate. They have it from across the street, gated off and fenced in. Selected. So that you can only walk into that door. There is no hanging out across the street. There is no hanging out in the parking lot. It's sectioned and gated off. Why? They have segregated themselves from everything else. What's the problem with us doing the same thing? What's the problem with us setting up and establishing our own banking system, our own financial institutions? Wait, there's a couple of brothers and sisters that's actually done that, haven't they? Gone. What we run into is the problem in which that we get too greedy for ourselves. We run into the problem, I'm saying, where we forget about helping out our brothers and sisters. We run into the issues instead that we need, I'm saying, the other nations' approval. Jay Morrison, 24 hours, $4 to $6 million. I believe it was 6.4. 24 hours. I don't know about y'all. I mean, I think that's enough, I'm saying, to, buy part of the projects, man. I mean, they about to drop $1 billion, I'm saying, to take down the highway. $6 million. How many different industries could you set up and establish? I mean, what if we did electrical, plumbing, automotive, HVAC? I mean, I just said a very few. Food, manufacturing. I'm just saying. How many Amazon warehouses do they have set up all over? I mean, what if a shipping company was set up? Isn't there a shortage of drivers right now? What type of contracts do you think would be able to get? Just saying. $6 million? Yeah. I mean, I think something could have been done. what did we do once again? We forgot to listen. We forgot to focus. As the scripture tells us. Deuteronomy 20:81. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day. That's it. We just had to do the commandments. But we want to walk out here and serve gods that says, no rules, do as you please. We misconstrue the words of the prophets, of the priests, of Yahushua. Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. It's all right. Water. It says, think not, I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. So when we look at this scripture, when we look at the Bible, hey, Yahushua, Jesus Christ said what? I am not come to destroy the law. What law is it referring to? What law is he talking about? If he did not come to destroy the law, then what did he do? If the law was done away with before Yahushua got on the scene, then what the hell is Yahushua talking about? What are we following after? I'm just saying. Anybody got the answer to that? Anybody got the answer to what plagues us as a people? That's what. It says, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I'm not come to destroy, but to fulfill. I'm not come to destroy. When you see us out here talking to our brothers and sisters, you think that we're here to destroy our brothers and sisters? Nah. We're not here to destroy our brothers and sisters. We're here to uplift them. It said 144,000. 144,000 is a number. That's of each tribe. It's like 12 of each tribe. So when we talk about the habits that are ingrained into us, the customs that is ingrained into us, we talk about it because we go out here and we make a separation amongst ourselves. We make a distinction amongst ourselves. But for the life of me, we can't make the distinction between our oppressor and our brother, our enemy and a friend, or should I say our enemy and our neighbor? We like the excitement. We like the praise. We like the thrill. We're a bunch of damn cheerleaders. We get taught from a child. Enthusiasm, enthusiasm, go, go, go. We take that spirit, we grow up. No justice, no peace. Defund police. God damn. Yes, it's important for us to point out. It's important for us to point out who the oppressors are. It's important for us to point out the wrongdoings that was committed against us, the acts of violence, the acts of hatred. That is important. That is not an excuse for us to go out there and start acting like a fool. You get to do whatever the hell you want. You done lost your mind. Yahushua said, I am not come to destroy the law or the prophets. The law of Moses. Does anybody have the answer? Like, what is it referring to? If it's not the law of Moses, then what law is Yahushua speaking of? I need somebody to enlighten me. If you have the answer as into what Yahushua came, what law he came to do away with, or what law was he referencing? Just think for a second. Why would Yahushua have to make a statement as such? I am not here to do away with the law. I'm not here to destroy the law or the prophets. So it's one of those things where it's just like, oh, we should not just read the New Testament. We should also read and understand the Old Testament as well. Wait, it's one book. Let me think for a second. Slovakia, Cat will check me for it if I'm out of order. I'll use this example. How's that? There are laws in place to protect certain species. Damn, ain't that something? There are laws in place to protect specific species. I gotta double check. What's the full breakdown on this? All right. There's a domain, a kingdom, a phylum, a class, a order, a family, a genus, and then a species. Species is the very smallest portion. Very smallest portion. It's crazy because black men are in danger two different ways. Can anybody tell me? And I'll get to that in just a second though, but for what I was talking about referring to, the paradise parrot is one. Paradise parrot. It went extinct around the 1920s. Why? Because eucalyptic trees were being cut down because of droughts. The Sicilian wolf extinct around the 1920s. Here's the reasons why. Extinction by humans due to its appetite for farmers' livestock. You see how there's the definition, they went extinct here. Why? Because we were protecting our livestock. So they justified why they went extinct. Tasmanian tiger around the 1930s. Here we go again. Tasmanian tigers. European colonists were afraid of the Tasmanian tiger and thought they may prey on their sheep. So they hunted and killed them to reduce their numbers. But in later years, as the Tasmanian tiger became rarer, the main reason for hunting by humans was for show in museums and zoos. The last one died roughly around 1936. 1936. Good night. Xerxes blue butterfly. This is around the coastal sand dunes of San Francisco Peninsula. Around 1940s. Because the cities overtook the habitat that they live in. Japanese sea lion around 1950. There's still sea lions, but the Japanese sea lions extinct. They were hunted for their skins, whiskers, organs, and oil, and were also captured for circus trade. This is the combination with persecution by fishermen and perhaps shooting by soldiers likely caused their extinction. They were last seen in the 1950s. Brexit nail-tail wallaby. They were common until foxes and cats that were introduced by European colonists started preying on them. Damaging their habitat may have contributed to the extinction in the 1950s. The Guam flying fox. It was driven to extinction by humans around 1960s, hunting for food, and the introduction again by humans of the predatory brown tree snake. So the brown tree snake helped cause the Guam flying fox, on top of humans hunting them, to go extinct. They were last spotted, have not been spotted since 1968. Caspian tiger. Around the 1970s. It was hunted by Russian colonial soldiers, and its habitat was destroyed by people clearing land for farming. Golden toad around the 1980s. Freshwater golden toad off of Costa Rica. They want to say global warming, infectious diseases, air pollutions all played a part. Last seen around 1989. The penta giant tortoise, extinct around 2010. It was hunted by 19th century mariners for onboard food supplies. They destroyed the tortoise's habitat with the last known death around Limousine George, which was in captivity in 1972. In 2012, the species went extinct. West African black rhinoceros, around about 2010. You got all of these extinctions going on and occurring. Why? I mean, several of these things we read about what? Colonists. Colonizing, you know what I'm saying, the zone. Fear that they would lose their livestock. So when they hunt them to the point where their numbers, damn near non-existent. Well, we have Planned Parenthood that has helped with the mass suicide, the mass, not suicide, the mass murder, mass genocide of our brothers. Sisters too. Then we also have laws and cowardly enforcer of those laws who would go out and shoot and kill us. Just like Ahmaud Arbery, who was gunned down for sport. So, Yahushua didn't come to do away with the laws that would help protect us from our oppressors. The same laws that Moses brought to the people after we were brought out of captivity, after we were let go from the oppressors, the laws that was good enough for Moses and the people in the wilderness, that took Moses to the promised land, even though he could not enter, it still took us to the promised land. We wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. Why? Because there was those of us who could not let go of whatever enticed us while we were in Egypt. Our lustful desires. Remember, when we left a mixed multitude. What does that mean? That means, yeah, there were some Egyptians with us. Those of us who had offsprings with the Egyptians, of course. Mixed multitude. So it took some time for the customs to die off, for the people to stop doing as what their great-great-grandmother has done. You understand? It took a couple generations. The spirit, you know what I'm saying, that plagued us had to die out. Jeremiah, what did he do? He spoke to the people as well. Moses spoke to the people. But some of us were so, oh, Egypt was so much better. That's just like us when it comes down to, oh, America is so great, man. It's already set up for us. Why do we got to start our own? Why do we got to spend the hours? Why do we got to have the pain and suffering? Well, guess what? We have a law that has already been set up and established. The law of our fathers, the law of Moses, that we should keep and we should follow, that should never go extinct. And it won't. Let's keep reading what the scripture says. It says, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. The jot, the tittle. You dot your I's, you cross the T's. It shall never be done away with. Why? That's how the Most High said it. So till heaven and earth, this earth is not going to go away. Never. Many of us will die, and generations later, guess what? The earth will still be here. So the rulership of all of the wickeds will fade to a distant memory, like a single grain of sand. And that may be too much. How about like a tiny atom? That is, on a singular microscopic, you'd be like, man, that is so insignificant. I know, right? We make America to be so vast and great and everything else, though. But what should that say of the Creator? The Most High, who created all that there is. Romans chapter 6, verse 1. Romans 6 and 1. Scriptures read, what shall we say then? Shall we be a lawless people? Shall we do as we please and desire? If Yahushua say he come not to destroy the law or the prophets, so what should we do? Because y'all swear up and down the law has been done away with. Y'all swear up and down the law has been done away with. So what shall we do? If the law ain't been done away with, then what? Huh? Oh, let's see what the precept said. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin? If there's no law, if there is no law in effect, that means one man can have sex with another man's wife or woman, and it's okay. So what King David did wasn't wrong, right? Because the law was done away with. Make it make sense, y'all. If there's no law, then why do we go out and protest? Why don't we conduct and carry ourselves as if it's like survival of the fittest? I mean, that's probably what it is, right? Survival of the fittest. if the law is done away with? Do whatever you want. If you want to take somebody and put them in captivity, you can do it. Why? Because there is no law. Wait. I think there are laws against that. I think there's a precept that goes in very deep about what happens to a man that takes another man and put him in captivity unwillingly. We're not talking about, you know what I'm saying, indentured servants. We're talking about people that were stolen and taken away the same way that the Africans, the Hamites, sold us. They said, hey, man, look, we got a choice. We got a decision. Look, y'all Hebrews, y'all cool and all, but y'all got to go. It's either my people or your people. So I'm going to take my mama and send her off. I'm going to take my daughter. Nah. We're going to let y'all go. Deal with them white folks. And let that be that. And we'll still have our land. And we'll take your land. Wow. So-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, there was a law that was set up. Oh, wait. So if justice will come from the Most High, that means the so-called white man, the so-called Arab, the so-called African, will all have to pay for their roles, for what happened to my ancestors, my forefathers. The fact that our identity was stolen from us, that we were beat, raped, murdered, and all types of wickedness brought upon us. The scripture literally says this. Romans 6, verse 1. What shall we say then? Shall it be like the Badlands, where we make the rules and do as we please? Shall we continue in sin, that grace may abound? What is this precept asking? What is it saying? Let me give it to you in simpler terms. Hey, look, yo, Pookie, listen, I know that you want to go out to the corners and do your thing. Fine. Continue doing what you do. Get the strap. Go to the block. By the graces of the Most High, you may return. Can anybody tell me what does that mean? It's a chance. Every time you go out there, you may not come back. You should keep pushing. Keep pushing. Eddie Murphy had a comedy show, I think it was. He was just like, he used to go out there, he used to gamble, playing craps. He'd just go out and gamble every single time. But he wasn't actually playing craps. He was just talking about his sexual health. He'd go out there and he'd gamble. Gamble. He kept gambling. Maybe it was Richard Pryor. Maybe they both said it. I don't know. They said they went out there and they would just, every single time. Just take a chance. Take a chance. Okay, cool. I'm up. Cool. I'm up. Cool. I'm up. Oh shoot, craps. Hey, give me my dick back. Nah. Give me my dick back. You crapped out. You took a chance every single time you went out there and you did. You took that action. To the point where, what happened? You lost. You didn't come back up on top. You didn't come back victorious. Every time you go out there and you lay down with prostitutes, every time you go out there, you know what I'm saying, and you take your clothes off and you strip, you know what I'm saying, in the club. Every time you go out there on the corners and you sell whatever you sell, I don't give a damn if it's in the corners, the car, your job, on campus. Every time you go out there and you're selling what you sell, you do, what you should not be doing in the first place. That's you taking the dice and rolling it. Every time you get in the car with that cat, you know what I'm saying, that you know ain't living right, you're rolling the dice. You're taking the chance. To the point where what? Eventually, you crap out. So you want to go out there, you want to play all goody-goody, you want to be all nice and cool, you know what I'm saying, with the other nations. You want to look and idolize, you know what I'm saying, how they live, their culture, and their society. Well, one day you're going to go out there, you're going to find out that you played the wrong game. You played it one too many times. You rolled the dice one too many times, and guess what? You're crapped out. You lose it all. You find yourself in jail. You find your reputation absolutely destroyed. You find yourself, you know what I'm saying, going to the hospital, in a mental institution. You find yourself, you know what I'm saying, breaking down. Why? Because instead of following after the Most High, instead of keeping the law, statutes, commandments, instead of what was good enough for Moses, YOLO, you only got one life to live. Instead of going to your brother because you have an ought against him or with him, hey, I don't like the way that you was talking to me. Hey, listen, you know what? I appreciate your voice and your opinion. I completely disagree that you were out of line. If you feel otherwise, counsel. You may find out that was the right thing to do. You gain a brother or you lose a brother. It's your choice. But the Most High requires for you to show brotherhood, which is part of the law. Yahushua, you know what I'm saying, said, a new commandment I give you thee. Love the Lord, you know what I'm saying, with all thy heart, thy mind, thy body, and soul. I'm just paraphrasing. And treat thy lover, I'm just like it, treat thy neighbor as thyself. If we follow these basic commandments, ooh-wee. Hey, listen, man, look, make sure y'all make arrangements, you know what I'm saying, for the cookout this weekend. So-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, we're going to be in Harlem. got the cookout, scripture breakdown class Friday, Times Square on Saturday, the cookout, Marcus Garvey Park. Be there. Be there. Come join your brothers. Come go join your sisters, man. It's the Most High Allah, man. I'm trying to be out there. I'm trying to get it in. With that, to all the brothers, Yahweh Bashim Yashab, to our sister Yahweh Shemar, Bashim Yashab. Shalom.